Hello and welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's Monday night. It's the PC League. I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend and a good start to the week. We are getting set for round number 3 of what is season 3 of 2023. It's a lot of threes. We are at Donnington Park. So the thumbnail image there insinuates that it might be wet. It's definitely not wet. Practice is just wrapping up right now as we speak. There's Andrew Lawrenson on screen. It is James Pierre Reid, though, who has taken out the fastest time of free practice. So I've got my timings a little bit wrong here. I've got no real pre-race to do. I've got my timing a little bit mixed up. But what is important, though, is we're off to a good start here. We've got cars on screen. Let me just quickly get this sorted. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. All right, cool. So James Pierre Reid leading them away. Plenty of cars out on circuit. 19 tonight in the server. And yeah, we've got 100 minutes around Donington Park, which will be good. 4.02 kilometre, 12 turn circuit. Should provide plenty of action for us this evening as we've got qualifying underway. James Mack heads back to the pits. Do a little pre-race post the qualifying session. Mark Hurley on screen there. Frost as well, all very familiar names if you've watched Race on Oz before. Miles Herbertron is out there. Just trying to see who will be the first car. It'll be Chris Hildebrand. He'll give us a first flying lap. There's Max Ricker. Russell as well, had a good race last week, Paul, but here's Chris Hildebrand. It's the first time lap of the evening, making his way through turn 1 called Redgate. So we're going to go down the hill here through Craner Corner, turn 4, the old hairpin. It's left up the hill now. He goes through Starkey Bridge to the right-hander of McLean's. He gets a little bit ragged there and has invalidated his lap. Stick with him though. He makes his way through Coppice, turn 8, and then heads down Starkey Straight. Hard on the brakes here for the S's, 9 and 10. Into the Melbourne hairpin. He goes to P3. Nice result for him. Here's Matthew Marsh. Good enough for P12 at the moment. What about James Pierre Reid? What's he got here? So Hildebrand just in front of him. 121. Ooh, goes to set the front row of the grid there in P2. 126.672. Best time so far. Terry Rayton replaces him. He goes into P2. So Terry Rayton had a good start to this qualifying session. Here we go. Masterson moves up a couple of spots into P12. What about Nando Lattanzio? That beautiful looking Aston Martin on the screen. Saw plenty of it last week as well. So he heads down the hill, the hard braking zone of turn 10 through the hairpin. Through 11, so 126.305 is the fastest time so far of the session. Lattanzio moves up into P5. What about Hildebrand? He invalidated his first time run. Let's see what he's got here in the 111 Aston Martin. turn 11. So third distance, or third of the time gone already in qualifying. It's Andrew Lawrenson, a familiar name up there with Terry Rayton, the Laundry House driver, up there on the front row of the grid. We're having a look at Wally Masterson here, one of the AM drivers in the number 37 Ferrari. He's currently sitting P15 right now. Max Ricker having a good run today. Reed, Latenzio, McDonald, Frost, Russell and Fakeney. That's your top 10 right now. Here's Bridgens. Tried to get his livery up again this week. James Max sent it through for me. No dice, so hopefully I can try and get that sorted before round 4 in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, we're having a look at Peter Wall. We've got no dramas with his livery. That's all working fine. Good enough for P11 right now in that very sharply presented McLaren. Here's James Mack. Podium winner last week, P3. Had a cracking race, and in the silver class leader as well. Silver class winner from last week too. So he's off to a strong start tonight up there in P7. Here's Hildebrand again. He's 4/10 up on his best time. Got 18 in the server now. I think Carlos Dominiak has just joined us, which is nice. Music racer, go the masochists. Here's Hildebrand, P10, nice work from him. What about Terry Rayton? And doesn't improve on his time, so 1.5 tenths off Andrew Lawrenson. Here's Matt Frost. In the Honda, 666 Honda, P9, 6 tenths up on his best time. That's good enough to elevate him into P5. Peter Wall, get back to him. He's on another time lap, couple of tenths up on his best time right now. And improve up into P10. Nice work from him. Here's Paul Russell. He's a couple of tenths up on his best time as well. Had a car just teleport to the pits in front of him there. Wouldn't have caused him any distraction. 2.5 tenths up. That should elevate him close to the front row of the grid at this stage. So it is tightly contested right now. And he goes to P3. Nice work from Paul Russell. He's in good form this season. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. It is Lawrenson, Rayton, Russell, Ricker, Reed, Frost, McDonald, Latenzio, Mack and Wall. Chris Hildebrandt knocking on the door of the top 10. He's in 11th right now. How much longer will that be? Not much longer. He's in P10, just squeezes in there. A 1:27.240. Who else is out there? Bridgens. Currently P16. He's third in the AM class. 3 AM runners. How good's that? You just finished the race. You get a podium tonight. Plenty of silver runners as well. And of course we've got the pro drivers too. As Bridgens 4 tenths up on his best time. That's good enough for P13 right now. Here's Peter Wall in P11. Don't know if he's going to do enough here to elevate himself into the top 10. Not on that trip around. Mark Hurley 177. Sitting relatively low right now for him. You've got sort of, it's not a Ferrari circuit, this one. As Ferrari is populating the bottom 7 positions. Four of the bottom 8 positions are occupied by Ferraris. That's Fakeney, Masterson, Hurley and Hatfield. You've got a McLaren on top of the times right now with an Audi in there as well. Audi represent. Porsche, McLaren, Porsche, Honda, Audi. A couple of Audis up there in the top 10 right now. Got BMW in there. Lamborghini. Got a nice little mix going on here this evening. What else is out there on the time lap? Terry Rayton is 4.5 minutes left. His best time's at 1:26.205. That's 1.5 tenths off the best time of Andrew Lawrenson. Interesting that they licensed R Factor 2 version of this track as the start-finish line further along. There you go. I like it when Adrian Rice, as much as I like it, you driving, I also like you with a chat. Very knowledgeable, very astute observer as well. So glad to have you aboard this evening. Hope you're enjoying the action. Seems like it's coming through nice and clear, which is good. Here's Terry Rayton continuing on his lap. He's just dropped off a little bit. He's 1.5 tenths down on his best time, and he's going to abort that lap by the looks of things, or it was a mistake either way. He's not going to improve. Carlos Dominiak might. Making his way through turn 11 now. There's Paul Russell in the background. Dominiak currently P18 right now as qualifying is coming to a close. Terry Rayton's gone again. We'll track his progress as he makes his way through this lap. We might stick with him for now. He's one of the only drivers out there on a timed lap. 3 minutes remaining. Still Andrew Lawrenson sitting on top of the times. Very familiar position to see that man on top. He's our overall championship leader as well, so one would expect, as Terry Rayton hustling his Audi around this circuit. That's Herbertron just getting out of the way there. The truck available to him. There's more undulations than you think around this track. It's quite enjoyable to drive once you get in a bit of a groove. There are no restrictions for this evening as well. I did find out last week that all the race setup and all that sort of stuff is in the exact same place as it was last season. It just didn't look properly, so had a bit of a man look. Oh yeah, Carlos Dominiak just losing a whole chunk of time there at the final turn there, so that did ruin his lap a little bit. Less than 2 minutes left. This is Neil Fakeney for Crunch Time Racing, currently P12. His best times are 1:27.532. He's about just over 1.5 tenths behind Peter Wall in the number 17 McLaren. He's just dropped a bunch of time there as well, so I don't know if he's going to be able to improve on his time. We will go all the way to the end though with him. Music Racer, I'm not sure I like the driving much at the moment. I know that feeling. You go through phases, don't you? You know, like sometimes you're really up and about for it, and then sometimes you're just not. I love the streaming part. I'm always up for streaming. That I can always get up for. Driving, take it or leave it. Still good to do it though, don't get me wrong. Still enjoy doing it, just like to do the streaming a lot more. Here's Hatfield, number 19 Ferrari. Let's see, he comes out to 1:28.325 is his best time. Just trying to find the driver on a lap right now as qualifying coming to a close. 30 seconds left. Let's go have a look at this man. We haven't seen much of him so far in quali. He's going to be one of the first drivers to lead us out to, at least in ACC. I downloaded R Factor 2 not too long ago. Haven't really got around to playing it much. As Lawrenson. Clock goes 000. Bit of a controversy this last week with Rensport and R Factor 2. No controversy about this man here right now. He's our championship leader, and that is enough for him. He's done. He's on pole position right now. It's looking very likely it's going to stay that way. Terry Rayton, possibly. He's 1.5 tenths off Lawrenson right now, and he's about a tenth up on his best time. Let's see if he can get any closer here. As he comes up towards turn 11, the final left-hander. Oh, he might be able to snatch it here. It's going to be pretty bloody close. Oh, it was looking likely, but he's gone 43 hundredths of a second. The difference between him and Andrew Lawrenson. So that is that's a good sight for the race, I think. But that is it, everyone. So Andrew Lawrenson, pole position, with a time of 1:26.042. Nice qualifying session from him. The highest silver driver was this man here, James Mack. So he qualified an outright 9th. And then this is Bridgens. He qualified 14th highest of the AM runners. All right, let's do standings and whatnot, because I did get a little bit confused with the time. Oh, look at that. They work. It's animated. Look, see? You'll see it in a second. Watch this. So these are all the drivers. You can see the scores are all accumulating at the end here. Right, so we're going. And then, so here we go. Look at Matt Frost. Watch this. Oh, look at that. He didn't have a very good first round. And because you drop your worst round, and we've only had 2, it's not as exciting as it will be later in the season. But I'm pretty happy that it actually animated, because I was testing it before and it didn't. But there you go. So that's our standings right there. Andrew Lawrenson sitting in P1. He's won back-to-back races, sitting there in P1 on 90 points. James Pierre-Reid and Paul Russell tied for 2nd and 3rd right now on 81 points each. James Mack and Max Ricker, 75 points each as well. So that's why you're seeing a lot of the same points, because these guys have finished in similar positions, and you do drop your worst round as well, and having only 2 rounds, hence why you've got sort of the more basic sort of and similar scores. Cool. Who else we got in there? Frost Rayton, Mark Hurley, Neil Fakeney, Peter Wall, Latanzio's in there, Carlos Dominiak, and the rest on and on. So that's overall. Let's have a look at silver class, because the whole idea behind this was in SimGrid, they don't have the AM and silver class, because it was going to be like a double up of duties, and I can certainly get on board. See, look at this. Look at the animations. Look at this. This is good. See, you like that? That's cool. That's what I did yesterday afternoon. I did all of this. So there you go. That's cool. That gives you a bit more of a taste of what it is. So James Mack is our silver class leader on 119 points, only 8 ahead of Neil Fakeney, who is 5 ahead of Peter Wall. So Mack, Fakeney and Wall in your top 3. Mark Hurley had a disaster in the first race. No, last race, Mark Hurley. 18th last race, 5th in the first race. Matthew Marsh, Hatfield, Dominiak, Hildebrandt, Stockton, and Adrian Rice. And then this is the AM drivers. There's only 5 of those. And this one's a bit more of a boring one as well. I don't think there's really any kind of too much jostling here, as you can see. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. Bridgens. Yeah, there we go. I've got him as the wrong car, though. He should be in a BMW. Bugger it. Anyway, you get what I mean, right? There we go. So that is AM.
20 seconds.
And then we have the manufacturers. I've got to fix that Lamborghini logo, because I don't like that. But this gives you an idea of the manufacturers' standings and where they sit right now. So it's McLaren leading the way right now, and as you can see, they've got a bit of a lead there at this stage of the championship. Only 2 rounds in, 165 leading Porsche by 40, sorry, 125. It's close between Porsche and Ferrari though. Aston and Audi are pretty tight, not too far behind Lamborghini, and then Honda and BMW bringing up the rear. Right, so Alright, we should be good to go. Maybe that's how I should do that. Maybe we don't need to do a pre-race anymore. I don't know. Anyway, hour and 40 minutes tonight. That's what we're doing. Yeah, depending on who you listen to, Rennsport could be in a bit of trouble. Yeah, over the whole licensing thing. Yeah, that's what it sounds like at the moment. So I'm not sort of across the detail of it. Just sort of saw the headlines. Anyway, nonetheless, we got some racing ahead of us. Paul Russell there in fourth. Matt Frost as well, sitting in fifth position. Max Ricker, he's going to start the race from P6. James Pierre-Reid's had a strong start to the season. He's beginning the race in seventh position. Eighth is Tom McDonald in the number 11 Warm Tyre Tribe Audi. James Mack, Red Rebel Racing in P9. 10th Chris Hildebrand in the Triple One Aston Martin. Peter Wall will be starting from grid number 11. Neil Fakeney, the Silver Class driver. This will be fun with Mack, Hildebrand, Wall and Fakeney all together, and then you've got Hurley in 13th just tucked in behind him. That's going to be good fun to watch. Good work from James Bridgens taking out the first in class for the AM drivers and 14th outright. Strong qualifying from him. Matthew Marsh will begin the race from P15. Herbertron, he's going to start 16th. 17th is going to be Wally Masterson. Carlos Dominiak in 18th, and 19th will be Peter Hatfield. Alright, let's go. So, gridding up, it's a laundry house. Front row lockout right here. And we are about to go green any moment now. Once they cross that line, we'll get the signal.
Green line, go, go, go.
Oh, drive-through penalty, 27 and 623. That's Ricker and James Mack both jump the start as they go side by side into turn one. Latanzio gets turned around. Oh, who else is that? That is Masterson and Hurley. Oh, his season is off to the worst possible start for Mark Hurley. Out in front, though, it's Lauritsen leading Brayton, Russell in third. Then you've got Ricker, Frost, McDonald, Pierre-Reid sitting in seventh. Mack just in front of Hildebrand in ninth. 10th is Peter Wall. And Neil Fakeney was one of the drivers that came undone there as well. So Latanzio, Hurley and Fakeney, all big fallers, unfortunately, to the back of the grid. It is a 1 hour and 40 minute race though, so they will have time to make up. Thankfully, all is not lost. As they go through the Melbourne hairpin for the first time tonight, Lawrenson, he's got the lights ablaze. Terry Rayton hasn't turned his on as of yet. And there's Russell in the background. Ricker leading the way. It's the end of the first lap. And we've got some drive-through penalties that are going to need to be served by, I think it was, Ricker and Mack, the two penalised drivers. So where is James Mack? Oh, he's in the pit, so he's serving it now. Come on, camera, hurry up. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, he's just coming out of the pit, so he's served his. Max Ricker, though, he will need to serve his, obviously, within 3 laps. Otherwise, he will be given a pretty hefty penalty. Watching McDonald all over the back of the Honda of Matt Frost. This is for 5th and 6th right now. They're heading up Starkey Straight as we speak. Lawrenson and Rayton already pulling a gap of 1.9 seconds over Paul Russell. So those two having a little private battle right now. So no restrictions in terms of race pit formats and all that sort of stuff. It's open slather. You go as hard as you want. The strategy is wide open. Ambient was set to 14 degrees, cloud at 0.4, rain at 0.5, and weather randomness was set to 2. As Herbertron, what's happened here, coming onto the front straight. Looks like he's done himself a mischief. Let's see if we can... Oh no! I'm really sorry, everyone. Oh no, that should be okay. What happened here? No, I went back too far. Sorry, my mistake. Didn't have the replay set up properly. In the meantime, back to the front of the field. Brayton and Lawrence, last lap around 27.342 to Lawrence and a 4.07 to Brayton. So it was barely anything in it between Lawrence and Brayton in qualifying, and that has continued on in the race. We see Terry Brayton take a race win. I think he had one last season as well from memory, so he's due. But it's a Laundry House 1-2 right now, as Latanzio just sneaking through there into P13. Let's see how we go with this one. There we go. I've got the replay sorted now. Heading down the inside. And nice move under brakes from Latanzio. He's his way up into P13. Max Rickard, you see him just in the foreground, serving his penalty for speeding at the start of the race. Normal screen, but Terry Brayton, he's got some pace going on right now. Fastest lap of the race so far, that previous lap, 27.185. He's a tenth faster, just under a tenth faster than Andrew Lawrenson, the man he's chasing down. Keep the action. Focused on the action at the front. Paul Russell continues to drift a little bit further. 2.4 seconds now the gap. So that's opened up by about half a second over the last lap and a bit. So we'll keep an eye on that as these two do battle at the front of the field. P1 and P2. Same livery, slightly different. I think Terry Brayton's got like a boxing kangaroo on the top of his roof. I think there's some other little minor touches as well, but predominantly mainly the same sort of lap time. So they do this trip around a 27.2 flat, 27.287. So nothing separating P1 and P2. 2.5 seconds back is Russell. A further 2.2 seconds is Frost. And we've got McDonald and Reed. We've got a nice little scrap going on with Frost in fourth position. Give you a little idea of this little trio here. There you go. That's a little bit further back in the field. In the meantime, though, Peter Hatfield putting some pressure on Matthew Marsh. He's got a hard-charging Nando Latanzio as Carlos Dominiak. He runs a little bit wide. Let's see what happens here to Carlos. Both following the pack that we had the camera on, and I think Carlos has bid us farewell and said adios amigos. Oh no, he hasn't. No, he has. That's Chris Hildebrand. Just got put off by the yellow there for a second. But the battle here at the front continues to go. Ooh, Hatfield finally gets past. Let's see how that came about. Here we go. It's the Tenzio in the background here. I think he made a pass up here a lap or so ago, and Hatfield said, well, I'm going to do that too, and he takes the position away. And then while we're watching that replay, Latanzio did as well. Let's here we go, caught the tail end of it, and that's Nando Latanzio making the move. So he's now moved his way back up into P11. Go back to live pictures momentarily. There we go. Gotta be quick on the replay button tonight. The gap is now 0.4 of a second between Lawrenson and Rayton. Nothing separating on the previous lap, and the gap between Rayton and Russell has continued to grow. So it's at 2.9 seconds now between P2 and P3. So these two continue to spread themselves away from the field. In the meantime, though, Matt Frost. Wrong one. There we go. I got it. 4th time's the charm. He's got McDonald behind him. And that's Frost in the Porsche there as well as Herbertron getting past Matthew Marsh. Let's see how that came about on the replay. Sliding through there. Oh, yeah, he just sneaks up the inside. Gets a little bit agricultural on the inside there, but nice work there from Herbertron. Sitting up there in P12 right now. Back out in front. 27.202. That previous lap at 2.30 to Rayton. So the pace is very, very even between P1 and P2 right now. As mentioned, there's no restrictions in terms of pit strategy tonight. It's open slalom, as it normally is in these 100-minute races that we have. Every third race of the season is a longer race than normal. It's like a mini enduro, if you like. And Rayton continuing to pour the pressure on Andrew Lawrenson. Oh, Hatfield! Oh, yeah. Let's have a look what happened here on the replay. Oh, just lost it on the inside, got on the grass. Looks like he's already hit something or someone, and then... Hey, that was lucky. I just left it there. I thought, oh, I might collect someone here, but he didn't. Hatfield. Oh, I think we've lost another one. So Carlos Dominiak and Hatfield. They've bid us farewell. Oh, here we go. Heather Russell. I was wondering where you were, Heather. I was like, is she all right? Oh, here we go. This is Ricker looking to go around the outside of Marsh. We've got Hurley and Masterson, a couple of Ferraris there. Fakeney too. A trio of Ferraris behind them, hot on their heels. See if there's any action. Looks like there's a little bit of sun trying to break through. 17 degrees air temperature, 24 degrees track temperature. So not exactly hot conditions right now. It would be pretty pleasant if you were there in real life. 17 degrees, and a few places in Australia hotter than that right now. Nice little scrap going on. It's half a second now, the difference between Lawrenson and Rayton. And Ricker had to serve that early drive-through penalty for jumping the start and moving his way back up through the field. So P13 is where he sits right now. He started in P6. He will be on a bit of a charge. Thinks about going up the inside there into the S's. Thinks better of it. And he continues to hunt down that Porsche belonging to Matthew Marsh, the number 47. Trio of Ferraris and a McLaren behind him. She was late. She was watching SAS. Oh, what happened, Wally Masterson? Oh, that was fake news as well. Let's see what happens here. So this is at turn 11. Oh, a little bit of a collision there. That was fake news. Looks like he does redress here. So yeah, that is generally the consensus of the trusted drivers panel. If you do redress, you'll be handled with a lighter sentence, generally. Lighter penalty. Won't let you off completely, but it will do your case a lot of good. As we're having a look at Bridgens here, tracking down the beautifully liveried number 17 McLaren belonging to Wall. In the BMW. Always feels nice and calm in the BMW. So Ricker and Marsh have swapped positions. Oh, have a look at this. Around the outside. This is turn 11. That's not the first time we've seen cars make contact there. Is he going to get the job done? He's not. So falling behind. Is he going to launch an attack up the inside here into turn 1? Not quite. Oh, is he able to get it done? He is. Now Matthew Marsh is just going to have to hold on here, and I hope he doesn't get swallowed up by Mark Hurley as well as they head up through Craner Corner. Save that 10 times fast. There, Hurley runs a little bit wide, gets a couple of tyres on the grass. He's pushing nice and hard. 177 Ferrari down there in 14th position. He started in 13th, so not made up any ground as of yet so far in this race. Back to this little scrap here between Peter Wall and James Bridgens, it for 9th and 10th. Andrew Lawrenson in the meantime, he has opened up a gap. Oi, Hurley now getting the move done on Marsh. So Marsh losing a couple of positions in the space of a lap. Let's see how that came about here. Yep, there we go, you got your answer. Hurley just inching ahead. The pass done comfortably in the end, and he continues on his merry way, so he's back to where he started in P13. In the meantime, we'll flick over to Pierre Reid. He's chasing down Tom McDonald. Lots of feedback last week about James Pierre Reid's video that he provided for us. Very nice of him to do that. It was very well received, judging by the comments in the Discord. So that's good. I have a feeling that's what he does by trade. I think he's in the audio-visual sector. Something like that anyway. He's not thinking about that right now. All he's thinking about is how can I get my Porsche ahead here of the Audi belonging to Tom McDonald. And that just might be the way. He's going to have the inside line here for the Melbourne hairpin. Runs nice and deep. Leaves his braking as late as he possibly can. It's going to be a drag race to turn 11. McDonald's going to have the inside line here. So it's flipped over now. That Audi runs pretty deep under brakes. Was it a little bit too deep? Is that going to open up the door for Pierre Reid? I think it is. It's going to be a drag race now into turn 1. Audi versus Porsche. Two German manufacturers going at it. Porsche not necessarily known for its top-end speed, and Tom McDonald able to retake that position away. So that was some nice, good, hard racing between McDonald and Pierre Reid. This is all for 5th and 6th right now. Yeah, good work from those two. Not making any contact. Racing hard but fair, keeping it nice and clean. Great stuff. That's what you'd expect from those two drivers as well. So good work from those two. This is not over yet though. We're going to continue to battle it out. So they approach the S's. Oh, here's Pierre Reid. This is where the action kicked off on the previous lap. He's going to try around the outside this time. Nothing doing there. McDonald just closing off that inside line. He's not going to let Reid sneak up the inside. going for another lap. This is great stuff to watch. Lawrenson continues to lead this one. 1.3 seconds is the gap between him and Terry Rayton. Last lap around, there was 53 hundredths of a second the difference in pace between Lawrenson and Rayton. So they're battling it out. 1.4 seconds is the gap. 3.2 seconds further back is Paul Russell sitting in P3. And then Frost is 4.8 seconds behind him. And then you got these two here, McDonald and Reed. So it's kind of a bit of a lonely race for second through to fourth. While fifth and sixth are both duking it out right now between McDonald and Pierre Reed. They once again make their way through the Melbourne hairpin. Laps churn out pretty quick around here. They're less than 90 seconds. What have we done so far? 13. Ooh, Hurley and Ricker have swapped positions. Let's see how that came about, shall we? What's going to happen? Ooh, Herbertron there. Oh, no. Okay, I don't know what happened there. It said maybe they like swapped back or something. Not too sure what happened. This is Hurley, Ricker and Mack. 12th, 13th and 14th. Making their way through turn one. Lawrenson and Rayton continue to lap at almost identical lap times. Sorry. Change that. What have we got? Latanzio and Bridgens. Looks like Latanzio is able to get that move done. Have a quick look at that and see how that came about. That's Wall just up ahead. And Bridgens might have just gave that one up. He's not in that race, so Latanzio and Wall though, another silver driver. So some of the biggest risers and fallers. Yeah, Latanzio, he's down into 9th position. He started in P3. And then Ricker started in 6th. He's in 13th. Mack has dropped 5 spots from 9th to 14th. Fakeney from 12th to 9th. And then Marsh has dropped a spot as well. And the biggest riser has been Bridgens. He started 14th. He's currently in 10th position right now. Oh, Herbertron. What happened, Herbertron? He dropped a few spots there, so I missed that. My apologies. Gap out in front between Lawrenson and Rayton. 1.2 seconds the gap. A couple of tenths faster. That's about the biggest gap in lap times we've had for a little while between Lawrenson and Rayton. So Andrew Lawrenson just continuing to churn out low 27s. As I say that, Terry Rayton goes a 127.155. That's 8 hundredths of a second faster than Lawrenson. That's what we're sort of talking about here, is how tight it is between those two in terms of time. And this is Ricker getting the move done on Hurley. Let's see how that one came about, shall we? Here we go. Hurley going down the inside at Melbourne hairpin. And then Ricker getting the job done. Hurley's going to have to keep an eye out for James Mack now. So he's got him hot on his heels as we go on board the McLaren. A couple of Red Rebel Racing entries. Mark Hurley has had contact with the rear of his car so far in this race. As they go up through Starkey Bridge. Not done much research. I don't know who Starkey is. Funnily enough, this was the first ever race that I streamed. This is the first ever track. First time I ever did a stream on ACC was this track. Some fond memories. Trip down memory lane. As these two battling it out for 12th and 13th, they could give two stuffs about my trip down memory lane. They just want to make up another position here. Mark Hurley wants to hold off James Mack. Ooh, gap has closed a little bit between Rayton and Lawrenson. It's at 9/10ths now. Hovering around 9/10ths to a second. As they complete trip around. Early on that lap, a 29 flat to Mack at 29.1, so not much difference between the two, just a 10th right now, battling it out for 12th and 13th. A couple of silver drivers. James Mack is our silver class leader right now, and Mark Hurley is in P4 in silver class, so a couple of the top silver class contenders going at it right now. A couple of teammates, if you like, with the Red Rebel Racing link between the two. Russell continuing to pound around as well in third. He's 4.4.5 seconds away from Terry Rayton. Frost is 6.3 and Tom McDonald's 4.7. Lonely for Frost and Russell. I find Matt Frost often has lonely races. Don't know what it is with him, but oh, here we go. Here's Mack. Hurley's going to have the inside line here for turn 11. Oh, Hurley runs deep. Mack's able to take advantage of that. Saw something similar with Marsh and Pierre Reid not too long ago, and James Mack now occupies position 12. Nice work from him. Hurley just making that little mistake there in the braking zone. Plenty of time to make that up. Still 74.5 minutes left in this one. So we've only just scratched the surface here in round number 3. The final season of the year. I think we finished like 18th of December or something. So a week before Christmas. How exciting. Christmas is around the corner. It's already mid-October. Do you believe that? Mid-October. Where did September go? Let alone mid-October. Before you know it, they've already got mince pies at the supermarket. How's that? Start seeing more Christmas decorations up in the next few weeks, I reckon. Not complaining about mince pies though. Definitely one of my favourites, that's for sure. This is 0.8 of a second. Last lap around a 27.382. This is a 27.297 to Rayton. So Rayton a little bit quicker on that last lap. What are we? 27 minutes in, so almost half an hour. Be interesting to see when we begin to see drivers making a pit stop. Still a whiles away though, one would think. Adrian Rice, can they do a one-stopper? What's the strategy here? Adrian, you gotta ask him for your 2 cents. As we watch Pierre Reid and McDonald do battle. Up Starkey straight now. Oh, you got a good run out of there, did Pierre Reid. Just doesn't quite have that extra bit of horsepower to make a little bit of contact in the braking zone at turn 11. No damage done there to either car. And Tom McDonald doing a great job here of fending off Pierre Reid. We've seen Pierre Reid launch a few attacks already. All to no avail so far. Tom McDonald's been able to soak up the pressure. And he's continuing a strong drive in P5. He started in 8th position, Tom McDonald. So having a good run so far in this race. Pierre Reid, he started in 7th position. So he's moved up one spot since the race has begun. Back to this battle here. So 7/100ths of a second, the difference on that last lap between Lawrenson and Rayton. So the pace still hot out in front. 4 drivers did 27s on that last lap though. Russell and Frost were the other two, besides the 2 cars on screen right now. Sun making a much more bigger appearance. This is the most sun we've seen so far in the entire time we've been on, including free practice and qualifying. Started very overcast conditions. Now we've got some nice sunshine. Latanzio, that's the job done on Peter Moore. Let's have a look at that on the replay. I think we saw Latanzio make a move up here already earlier in the race, and he's going to repeat the dose. And ooh, he sent that Aston Martin through. Nice work from him. Here we go. I was just curious. I did a historic GT2 at Donnington a couple of weeks ago, and there was only 2 seconds difference in lap times. You got to give me, what's the pit strategy, Adrian? Historic GT2 at Donnington. Here we go. Have a look at this. Pierre Reid once again all over the back of Tom McDonald. These two have been going at it for a little while now. See the flames belching from the rear of the Audi. James Pierre Reid just wrestling with that car, fighting a little bit of oversteer. They come out of turn 8 up through Starkey Straight. Now into the S's, 9 and 10, and Pierre Reid bringing in the neck right now of that Porsche. Very nicely presented Porsche though, one must say. It's kind of got a similar to the colours that MotoGP uses for their overlays and whatnot for their broadcast. Not too sure if that's what he was inspired by. I highly doubt it. Nonetheless though, very nicely turned out car. I'm unsure if he does these liveries himself. So, not too far away. We've already done half an hour. I think we've already done half an hour. Pretty sure we have. If I made it far enough, probably main pit strategies. Half and half, or 60-40. Here we go. That's what we wanted. Thank you. So this is the battle out in front. That last lap, 5/100ths of a second difference. No, 5/1000ths of a second. A 27.510 to a 5:05. So these two absolutely going at it for the entire race. Paul Russell, he's 5.3 seconds back from this pair. There he is. So you can see Lawrenson and Rayton a little bit further ahead. And we've seen these guys go at it for a bit. You got Hildebrandt and Latanzio just having a look at some of the close battles. And then Bridges and Wall as well. In terms of silver class, we've got Chris Hildebrandt. He is currently in P7 outright. And he's got the 111 Aston Martin there. In silver class leader right now. He's currently sitting 8th in the championship for silver class. So this would do his championship aspirations a world of good right now. Peter Wall and James Mack rounding out the podium there. And then for AM, it's Bridgens with Herbertron. Oh, Wally Masterson, he's in the pits. I wonder if that was part of his strategy. Maybe a little bit early for it to be. As we cut away to McDonald and Pierre Reid. These two continue on their battle for a top 5 position. Down into turn 1. Last lap around, 5/100ths of a second. So pace across the field has been pretty tight, especially in the top 5 or 6. Pierre Reid, as I mentioned, just lacks a little bit of that top end speed. Top speed from Tom McDonald is 240 kilometres an hour. Top speed from Pierre Reid is 238. So just that little bit extra. Obviously Porsche not necessarily known for its speed in this game. Has been improved a little bit though in recent times with the introduction of the 992, but still is usually towards the bottom of the bottom of the sheet when it comes to top speeds. The Audi can hold its own though. Audi's generally got a bit of toe in it. Not the fastest, but definitely not the slowest. Oh, Lattanzio gets the move done on Hildebrandt. Let's go to the replay. We've seen Lattanzio making quite a few good overtakes, and this is another one up the inside of turn 10, the Melbourne hairpin. And he gets the job done, so nice work, Nando. He is moved up into P7. He did start in P3, so he had that early penalty, started the race, and hence why he is cutting his way back up through the field right now, and so far has reached as high as P7. It's going to take a little while for him to catch Pierre Reid though. 13.4 seconds is the gap between those two. Last lap around, Pierre Reid did a 28.0. Lattanzio did a 28.495. So he's got a fair bit of work in front of him. He might have to get a little bit creative with his pit strategy if he wants to try and get back up into P3, let alone P6. 7th is where he stands right now. We're not too far away from the 40-minute mark, and these two have been battling it out for the entire time. Andrew Lawrence and Terry Rayton. Terry Rayton currently sits in P6 in the championship. He's taken out a 4th and a 5th so far this season. So he's in his best finishing position if the race was to finish right now. Let's have a look at Ricker and Wall and Bridgens. It's always horrible when you've got the two non-liveried cars right next to each other. It's the second time that's happened tonight. I don't know what's going on with that. I think there's some overtaking and then retaking, and I'm just getting bamboozled by what my timing screen brings up with me. But we've got a couple of McLarens. That's Wall running wide. I don't need a replay to work that out. Is he going to be able to keep Bridges behind him? He's not, so he loses 2 positions with with that one mistake. Let's have a look and see what happened here. He just ran wide. Yeah, there you go. Almost had all four wheels out on the dirt, and that has cost him big time. Peter Wall drops down 2 spots into P11 as we go back to live action. So Max Ricker will be happy with that. He started in 6th position. He was the other driver, I think, to get the penalty here in Latenzio, or was it Mac as well? I think it was Mac too. So, Latenzio had the little incident. That's right. He didn't get a penalty. It was Mac and Ricker. You got it. Gap has slightly come down, 0.7 of a second between Lawrenson and Rayton. 27.437 that last lap around at 27.855. So 0.4 faster on that previous trip, Andrew Lawrenson over Terry Rayton. That's P1 and P2. You can see Paul Russell there, just in the Porsche. When it is a lonely race like that as well, it's keeping your concentration levels up becomes quite the challenge, because you can be lulled into just a break in concentration, and because you're not under the pump, you're not concentrating as hard. Mind can wander. So it is a challenge to keep yourself engaged, focused on what you need to do. It's a big aspect of racing, that intense focus for an amount of time. Racing in general, sim racing exactly the same. That concentration, that's a real skill. It's mind training, isn't it? Meditation is good for focus. Good for the grey matter of your brain, apparently. Ritalin is also very good for focus. Dexamphetamine as well. That's excellent for focusing. All prescription drugs, of course. You can't just buy that over the counter at Chemist Warehouse. Although in some countries you may be able to do exactly that. So definitely not Australia though. Pretty tight on that kind of stuff. And fair enough as well. Pierre Reid and McDonald, they continue to battle it out for 5th position. Wall manages to get past Bridgens. See how that came about. I was a little bit quick on the trigger finger there for the replay. Hopefully we actually get to see it happen. Bridgens doing a little bit of rallycross there. And there's the pass by Wall, who moves himself up into P10. He's 2nd in Silver Class right now. The lead of Silver Class belongs to Chris Hildebrand in the 111 Aston Martin, as we have now broken over into less than an hour left in this one. So we've done 40 minutes already. Another 60 to go. That means we're not too far away from the halfway mark, which we could possibly start to see some pit strategies. And as I say that in the chat, Adrian Rice, it'd be interesting to see who does what with pit strategy. Lawrenson tends to go as long as possible usually. Frosty tends to... Oh man, they got this new emoji thing in the chat, and I don't need that. It's covering up the thing to go well. Alright, we'll see. Mark Hurley is in the pits. There he is. Pierre Reid all over the back of McDonald here, as he has been for quite a while now. And looks like the weather's slightly changing. That we were bathed in sunshine earlier, but that cloud cover rolling back in again. So lights are on. It's definitely not that dark. Oh, here we go. Terry Rayton as well. So we've got some really close scraps happening. He was faster on that last lap as well, Terry Rayton, so he's closed the gap right up. You can see what it is there. They've got a lapped car up ahead, I think. Yeah, they do. I wonder who that is. Maybe that's... Is it? Oh, I wonder if that's Mark Hurley, who came out of the pits recently. Could possibly be. Oh no, that's Marsh. That's Matthew Marsh in the number 47. Wouldn't be surprised to see Paulie do 50 minutes. And Matthew Marsh just getting out of the way there for the front runners coming through. That's P1 and P2. Lawrenson has had his headlights on the entire time. Terry Rayton finally joins the headlight gang. He's got him on as well. Doesn't have the enduro lights on at this stage. Big fan of the enduro lights. I like it. And here's the other scrap going on. These two both got their lights on as well. That's Tom McDonald and Pierre Reid. Pierre Reid will be very, very familiar with that rear wing of Tom McDonald as Max Ricker takes a spot away from our silver class leader, Chris Hildebrandt, the 111 Aston Martin, going down the inside, down the hill at turn 10. Hildebrandt, he was letting him through there as well. As we go back to live images, back to live pictures. Here's Pierre Reid hunting down McDonald. The hunt continues. In the meantime, Lawrence and Rayton, this is great stuff. So we're about 5 minutes away from the halfway mark. It's going to be very interesting to see pit-wise what happens. Rayton just under 1.5 tenths slower on that previous lap. Still only half a second is the gap. What about Mack and Bridgens? So McLaren. Quite a few McLarens out there leading the championship. In fact, as we saw earlier, with the animated graphs, how good. So last lap, Bridgens did a 29.3, 28.9 to James Mack, the silver class driver as well. This is an AM. This is the leader of the AM class, in fact. So the other driver who's battling it out, in fact our championship leader for AM is Herbertron. He's currently in P13, second in class. And then Wally Masterson, he's second in class in the championship. He's sitting third right now. So championship implications this evening. And as you can see, yeah, it's fully overcast now. How much wind? Very odd. We don't have any wind, but the cloud is just like rolled in. So what's happening to Marsh here? Ooh, where is that? That is after Starkey's Bridge. Let's see what happened here. Mack is making a stop as well. And, oh he just touched the grass. Oh, that's a big hit too. Oh boy, that's a big one. And to his credit though, Marsh is continuing on. As we're not far away from the halfway mark, James Mack is in the pits. I think Reed is going to have to work out a pit strategy here to get himself past McDonald, because so far it has proved not possible as Terry Rayton makes his way into the pits. Come on, cameraman, you got to hurry up for me. There we go. He's in there, and that was Mack leaving. I thought that was Andrew Lawrenson then for a second. As these two, McDonald and Reed, continue to battle it out, as they have for quite a while now. And Rayton still in there. Yes, he is. We'll see if Lawrenson responds. He's coming up through turn 8 right now. And looks like Terry Rayton's still in there. Oh no, there we go. I'll get his time in a moment. That's Wall coming through with Bridgens. So Terry Rayton's coming out in P11. Andrew Lawrenson's just coming through the Melbourne hairpin now as Pierre Reid just overshot his braking there. Let's go have a look at what Lawrenson's going to do here. Will he respond directly, or will he continue on? He will continue on. So Adrian Rice said in the chat that Lawrenson generally does like to go for as long as he can. And I would definitely concur with that. Herbertron, he's in the pits as well. Okay, so pit stop time, 58 seconds total time to Terry Rayton, as this is McDonald, so it's going to be a very interesting one to track here. Will Pierre Reid respond straight away? He's got the clear air. I think this is a good stop from McDonald. Hits his marks, away he goes. Alright, so we're monitoring Andrew Lawrenson. Will he respond or will he continue on? And then also keep an eye on this man here, James Pierre Reid. Take advantage of this fresh air. He hasn't had much for most of this race. Ricker is in the pits as well. There he is. Let's flick over to Andrew Lawrenson. What's he going to do is we tick over halfway. 50 down, 50 to go. 50 plus 50 equals 100. That's how many minutes we're racing for this evening. First 50 minutes have gone by pretty quickly though, I have to say. And Lawrenson continues on. What about, where are you, Pierre Reid? There he is. So Marsh is in the pits as well. It's going to be a fair bit of damage to repair for him. Paul Russell coming into the pits. Here he is, hits his marks. And bang, got it. What does Pierre Reid do? Pierre Reid continues on as well. So Tom McDonald, who was in that battle with Pierre Reid, he's come out in 10th, and he's sitting in behind Terry Rayton, who's 23 seconds up the road. And how much longer should this man be in the pits? Probably another 20 seconds. Yeah, about another 20 seconds for Russell. As Rayton, this is for position. That's Bridgens. Obviously, he's not yet to pit. There's Russell. So he makes his way out of the pits. Terry Rayton's managed to cover him off. And let's keep an eye on this man here. Let's see what he does, Andrew Lawrenson. Continues on as well. Sort of lap time does he do? A 27.565. Let's see what Terry Rayton does as well. This is Pierre Reid. So this is the two battles that we're just that I am keeping an eye on for everyone. Pierre Reid clicks over another lap at 27.795. What does Rayton do? He's tucked in behind Peter Wall. Mack and Bridgens, they swap positions. There we go. Latanzio making his way into the pits. He is spinning out of P4. And Terry Rayton going up the inside of Peter Wall. Up into P5 now. So most cars have made stops. Top 4 haven't. All yet to make a pit stop in this one. With just on 46 minutes remaining. So the second half of this race yet to unfold. Part of it has already though. This man here started in P2, currently sitting P5. Last lap around at 27.675 compared to Lawrenson at 27.497. He did have Peter Wall in front of him though, Terry Rayton, so might have lost a little bit of time. He had to make the move through the final turn. See what sort of time he does on this lap, and continue to monitor Andrew Lawrenson. $27.422, so there you go. So he ups the pace, in fact faster than the last lap that Lawrenson did. Switch over to him and see if he's going to make a stop on this one. As Adrian Rice alluded to in the chat, he's probably going to eke it out as far as he can go. Sort of lap does he do? 27.357, so slightly quicker than Rayton, but still not a massive amount in it right now as it has been the entire race. So this is Pierre Reid. He's in a battle with McDonald. So what sort of time does he do? 27.650. McDonald's last lap was a 28, but I think that was the post pit stop lap. So this will give us the first indication. Now he finds himself in P8. The gap between him and Pierre Reid is about 29, 31, 34, 36, about 56 seconds, which might not be enough for Pierre Reid to make a stop and stay in front of McDonald. Only just though. So once Pierre Reid does make his stop, it is going to be super close between him and McDonald. Lap time does McDonald do this trip around? A 28.192. Neil Fake Neil. What's happened, Neil? Oh no, I hope that's not a disconnection. I think it is. Oh dear. He's had trouble with the internet in the past, and I think it has struck again. That is very cruel. Just over halfway, and I think he's gone. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's here anymore. Masterson, Terry Rayton, here we go. On Chris Hildebrandt, this is 4th position. The sun just coming back out again. Track at 23, air at 17. Here's Pierre Reid. He's in the pits. So So this is going to be close between him and McDonald. Here's the man on the screen. Didn't get to see what the gap was though between the two. Pierre Reid's still got about another 20 seconds in the pits here. Will McDonald be able to get through? There's Pierre Reid. Here's McDonald. It's going to be pretty close. We should see. Oh, there you go. Pierre Reid's managed to do it relatively easy. So he stopped for 54 seconds. So total stop time. And McDonald was 55. So Reid stopped for 30 seconds and a total of 54. McDonald stopped for 32 and a total of 55. So there you go. That is the difference between the two. And James Pierre Reid will be breathing a sigh of relief that he managed to get through, and he no longer has to stare at the rear wing of Tom McDonald, who's now 2.6 behind, 2.6 seconds behind him, and it is now his turn to try and get past James Pierre Reid. So that still leaves Lawrenson, Frost, Hildebrand and Wall as the 4 cars at this 16-car field that are yet to make a stop. That's a quarter of the field haven't pitted yet. How's that? And Russell and Wall now. So this is 4th position. Hildebrand, he continues to lead the silver class. He and Peter Wall right now in P1, P2, James Mack in P3. So this will give Chris Hildebrandt's points column a bit of a boost if he's able to hold on for another 40 minutes. It's still a long way to go in this one for him. When you've done an hour already, another 40 minutes isn't necessarily what you want to hear. As we're focusing on Paul Russell, had a pretty good race so far. Started 4th, currently 6th. Once Hildebrand and Wall pit though, he will come back into P4. So having a strong start to the season. Well, strong-ish. 15th in round number 1, 2nd in round number 2. So he's currently sitting in P2 in the championship. He's tied on 81 points with him and James Pierre Reid. The next variable will be people. How are people going on track limits? That is a good point. And brought up in the chat. Here's Matt Frost. He drops and goes, so he's currently P6 right now. Pierre Reid is not going to be able to close up. That's not Pierre Reid. I think that's Wally Masterson. So Matt Frost rejoins the race in P6. But yeah, he's got a couple of drivers up ahead who need to stop. And another driver, our race leader, Andrew Lawrenson, continues to go long here. In the meantime, though, we're going to watch Paul Russell ply his trade and gets the move done. Let's have a look at that one again from the helicopter view. Up the inside, pretty easy in the end. And there you go. Yeah, that is very tough for Crunch. Neil Fakeme. He's had a few issues with internet. I definitely can feel his pain. I had an issue with internet a couple of weeks ago, but he's been ongoing for a little while now. So yeah, it's rough. Very, very rough. Yeah, small condolences that it wasn't, at least it wasn't when you were up the front of the field. Yeah. That is true. You get to sit back and watch the rest of the race. Or if you want to watch the cricket, or even go to bed, you can do that as well. So we're watching Russell here. We're all waiting for Lawrenson to make his way into the pits. The other little scrap that we had been focusing on for a big portion of the race was Pierre Reid and McDonald. So last lap around, Pierre Reid did a 27.382. McDonald was a 27.530. So advantage Reid on that previous trip around. Russell. That was Hildebrandt just up ahead. There he is in the foreground. That's Marsh. Hey, credit to Matthew Marsh as well. He took that massive hit before, and you wouldn't have begrudged him if he had acquitted. But he didn't. He continued on. What a trooper. Matthew Marsh, great job. As Hildebrandt, he was the class leader for Silver, makes his stop. This is the class leader right now for Silver. It's Peter Wall. And that beautifully turned out McLaren. PWR Shell Racing. Throwback livery. There we go. That's a decent shot of it. Have a look at that baby. Famous number 17 as well. Very famous number in Australian motorsport. Great Dick Johnson. Hey, Wally Masterson. That's not great. Let's see what happened here. Seen a few drivers just... Oh, that was... I think Matthew Marsh was offered a similar spot too, but he didn't have the ending that Marsh did, thankfully for him. He'll continue to circulate his P15 right now, and in the meantime we'll flick across to James Mack. So this is for Silver Class podium. Right now Peter Wall is our Silver Class leader. Hildebrandt is in P2 for Silver, and P3 is this man on screen, James Mack. So he's hunting down that yellow and pink Aston Martin, the 111 belonging to Hildebrandt. See if he can get a step closer. James Mack's currently leading the Silver Class Championship by only 8 points. And this is going to rub a bit of salt in the wound, and I did not intend to do this, but Neil Fakeney was in P2 in the championship. That will not be come round number 4. So, yeah, that just makes his night a little bit worse. But in the meantime, though, we'll focus the action on the track. Oh, it's raining at the cricket anyway. Yeah, right. It's probably a good thing for Australia the way we're playing at the moment. So last lap, Hildebrandt, that was his out lap. So that doesn't give us a good indication. So the gap between Reid and McDonald as well is at 3.8 seconds. Last lap around, Pierre Reid did a 27.1 compared to McDonald a 27.5. So 4 tenths of a second faster on that previous lap was Pierre Reid. And he's got Matt Frost just up ahead of him, who was significantly slower on that previous lap, as Peter Wall, currently pitting from P4 and the Silver Class lead. He's going to make his stop. There he goes, bang, in front of the pits. Oh, Andrew Lawrenson was in the pit. I wasn't paying attention. Here we go. He's just made his way in now. So he's making his stop. Hits his marks. Terry Rayton. Let's focus on him for now. He's making his way down Starkey Straight. He's currently in P2. Hadn't really checked on the pace or the gap. Was a little bit negligent there. And that is a quick stop from Lawrenson. That is an incredibly quick stop. That is ridiculously quick. It's almost unfair. So he's absolutely destroyed that pit stop. So he was the last car to pit. He is in P1. That's Wall ahead of him, who's in P11. So essentially, Peter Wall, I believe, is a lapped car right now from Andrew Lawrenson. So all of the pit stops that were done of drivers that have stopped once, the fastest time was 54 seconds. That was James Pierre Reid. So he was stopped for 30 seconds, a total pit stop time of 54. Andrew Lawrenson said, hey, I'm going to go the longest, and I'm only going to stop for 16 seconds, and my total pit stop time is going to be 39 seconds. He smashed it by 19 seconds. 15 seconds Pierre Reid, but compared to Rayton, it was 19 seconds faster. That's incredible. He was 16 seconds faster than Russell, 18 seconds faster than Frost. So Andrew Lawrenson just absolutely... He's fast in the pits, he's fast on the racetrack. Only got just over half an hour remaining, half an hour and change. He's in well control. 18.1 seconds the gap between him and Terry Rayton. So he's looking on track to make it 3 from 3 to begin the season. And he's starting to look reminiscent of what it was the season before last when he... Yeah, no tyres in his stop. Yeah, just... Whew. Incredible. Everyone else has got to stop for tyres though. Of their own accord, but you know what I mean. It's, yeah. Crazy. Alright, let's see. We'll monitor his... We'll monitor his lap times though. The gap, 18.6 seconds between him and Terry Rayton. Rayton last lap around at 27.4. Fastest car on track. Second fastest car on track was this man here on screen, James Pierre Reid, who's starting to creep up on the 666 Honda belonging to Matt Frost. Frost that previous lap at 27.562 compared to Reid 27.457. And Reid has continued to extend the gap between him and McDonald. It's now at 6.1 seconds. So the scrap that he was in for probably a good half an hour at least, looks like that's over, but he is about to begin a new one right now. And that Honda that you can see there in the foreground, the 666, belonged to Matt Frost. That is the target for the number 31 Porsche. Team Super Fun. Teams Racing. Yeah, so a little bit of discourse in the chat there. Yeah, Adrian Rice just asking if the Macca can double stint tyres. If any car the Macca can. If it can, that's a ridiculous advantage. That is a ridiculous advantage. It's a Macca fest everywhere you go right now as well. Like, everyone's driving it. It is definitely the OP car right now, or the Alpha, Meta, Beta, whatever the hell they want to call it. In the meantime, though, we're watching Reid and Frost go at it. So James Pierre Reid, he qualified in 7th. Matt Frost qualified in 5th. So both these drivers having a good run. That is wild that he could do a double stint. 100 minutes on the same set of tyres. That's pretty incredible. What's he lapping at? 27.495. His first time lap post pit stop. Rayton did a 27.517. So a little bit faster than Rayton, who did change his tyres at the pit stop. Incredible. Let's see how they held up for the next 27 minutes. Or just a tick under. In the meantime, we'll keep ourselves occupied with Frost and Reed. Nothing in it on the previous lap between these two. It's been a decent race, I reckon. It's a small grid, but usually that doesn't deter from good racing. It's usually the case. The smaller the grid, the better the racing. Often find here on a Monday night. Good racing most weeks anyway. These two make their way up the front straight. Marsh, he's 16th right now, so he's a lapped car. Leader of the silver class. This is a good little scrap going on between Chris Hildebrandt and James Mack. So this is the battle for silver class supremacy. James Mack, who currently is lead in the championship. Chris Hildebrandt in 8th position, so he'll move up the leaderboard, but this is going to be a scrap that will go all the way to the end. And then Bridgens, James Bridgens, is leading the AM class in 12th outright, so great work from him. Herbertron, the AM class leader, finds himself in 14th, and Wally Masterson, who's sitting second in the AM championship, is in 15th position outright and third in class. So we had 3 AM drivers in the beginning of the race, and that's what we have right now as well. Dust being kicked up there. So they make their way through the old hairpin, turn 4, down through Starkey Bridge. 24.5 minutes remaining. Go. That last lap, Lawrenson 27.862 versus a 27.377 to Rayton. So I'm not too sure what the traffic situation was like though on that previous lap to Lawrenson. He's not too far away from this little battle going on right now between the two silver class leaders. These are two of the closest cars on track. The other one's Frost and Reed in 4th and 5th, so I'll oscillate between those two. And we can see our race leader. He's just on top of the hill there, behind the 3 cars ahead. I think the other one is Ricker behind them. It is. There you go. And that's Andrew Lawrenson there. Let's see what time he does this trip around. 27.567. Interesting. Oh, nice little power slide there from James Mack. Terry Rayton does a 27.577, so 100 slower on that previous lap compared to Lawrenson. These two, Hildebrandt did a 28.150. James Mack 27.980 on that previous lap, and the gap between Frost and Reed has just stretched out a little bit further. It's at 1.2 seconds as we speak. might do though. Wouldn't mind just doing a lap with this guy. Let's see how he's doing it. What does he do here? 27.4, so he goes even faster. Let's do a lap with Andrew Lawrenson, our race leader. That was a lap. The race leader, Lawrenson. That was a 1:27.697, and Max Ricker and James Mack swapped positions as well on that lap. So Mack now finds himself in P9. Oh, they make contact. Now that's Andrew Lawrenson there as well, so he's not wanting to get caught up in any of this, especially with only 20 minutes remaining. And Mac lets him through. Well done to him. He should be able to navigate easily enough with Ricker, who I'm sure will, as soon as he sees him, he'll let him through. Keep an eye on his lap time, 28.152, so just a little bit of traffic there. It's James Mack getting a couple of wheels on the grass up the front straight into turn 1. Flick across to these two right now, Pierre Reid and Frost. Previous lap, Frost was a 27.630 compared to Reid at 27.452, so a couple of tenths faster to Reid. And the gap currently sitting at half a second, as you can see on the screen. So both these drivers having a good race so far. Pierre Reid's had a good start to the season, took home P2 in week 1. P11 last week, sitting third in the championship, while Matt Frost was a DNF in the first round and took home 4th last week to sit in 7th in the championship, tied on 69 points with Terry Rayton. So two of the championship protagonists right now on the screen. And having a good race. Frost started in 5th, Reid in 7th. So they both moved up a couple of spots. 1 spot to Reid and 2 spots to Frost. Sorry, wrong way round. 2 spots to Reid, 1 spot to Frost. some after-dinner dessert right now. Quite delicious. Chobani yogurt. Underrated. What was that lap time? 27.5 to Frost, 27.4 to Reed. Keeping an eye on Lawrenson as well. Continues to operate at a similar lap time to Terry Rayton. There's really nothing in it between those two. 16.7 seconds is the gap between P1 and P2. Max Ricker sending a move down the inside at the Melbourne hairpin. Let's have a look at how that came about. Ducks out of the slipstream. This is on Hildebrand. Hildebrand doesn't want to fight this too hard. He's got the silver class victory in his sights right now. Only feels like a minute or two ago I said there's 40 minutes remaining. There's less than 20, 16 in fact. The yogurt was good. I love Chobani yogurt. It's bloody great. Greek yogurt. A little bit of like it's a strawberry one, so there's strawberry at the bottom of it. Probably really not the best thing to be eating at 10:30 at night, but you know, whatever. Right, so this is Ricky. He's 24 seconds behind the Tanzio, so much opportunity for him to overtake. Herbert, I haven't seen too much of him. He's down in 14th. He was just in the foreground there between these two. Frost was about a tenth of a second faster. Adrian Rice disagrees with me on the Chobani yogurt. So each their own. I don't like those fit ones, the Chobani fit. Not a fan. Yeah. I do like those other ones. I think it's Chobani do them as well, where you got like the chocolate sprinkles or whatever, and then you do the little flip it over. They're great. They're so good. They're not particularly good for you though. That's the only problem. What is good for you though is what we've got on the screen right now. Frost and Pierre Reed going at it. That's Herbertron in the Red Rebel Racing liveried McLaren, just getting out of the way. For these two, I'm not too sure if he saw Pierre Reed coming through there as well. Let's have a quick look at the replay. We'll go on board with Herbertron. That will give us a bit more of an idea. So he sees one coming through, and then he's like, hang on, there's two of you. There we go. All's well that ends well. Has dropped Pierre Reed back just a little bit. It's now just under a second, the difference between him and Frost as we're into the final quarter hour. And I think it's the water that helps keep my voice nice and smooth. Ooh, Mac and Hildebrandt going at it. P9 and 10. Here, this is for the silver class victory. The top three runners in silver class are all line astern in P9, 10, at 9, 10, and 11. That's Peter Wall just a little bit further back. So the fight for P1 in silver class is not over by a long shot. James Mack hunting down Chris Hildebrandt. Last lap around a 28.880 to Hildebrandt, a 28.1 to Mack, so 7/10 faster on that previous lap. That's why we see such close proximity between these two as they're making their way up through Starkey Bridge, up the hill towards McLean's turn 7. And this is going to be a good scrap here. I'm sure Chris Hildebrandt is thinking otherwise. He's like, why can't I just stroll home here? A nice easy run. Mack is going to push him the entire way. So we've still got the silver class up for grabs. James Bridgens is currently 12th outright and first in the AM class. That will do his championship aspirations a world of good as well, because the man that that was in front of him, Wally Masterson, looks like he has dropped out. So we're down to 15 now. So that's good news for James Bridgens. And then Herbertron, he's our AM championship leader. Currently sitting in 14th per second in class right now. With less than 12 minutes now to go. The sun is back. Beating down. 23 degrees track, 17 degrees air. It's been what it has been for the majority of the race at optimum conditions. Haven't seen any weather. Weather randomness was set to 2 tonight. Rain was set at 0.05. Cloud level was at 0.4 and ambient was at 14. Need to do a bronze Scott and do the Stones ginger wine. A lot of old school singers swear by it. Right. What is it? Ginger wine. Stones ginger wine. I've never even heard of that before. Goodness. I have to look that up. Stones ginger wine. Dan Murphy's, $16.95. Hang on. Stones Mac. I've never even heard. I've never even heard of ginger wine. Look, I'm not the biggest wines connoisseur. Stones Mac blended ginger. Ginger wine. Wow. Health benefits of ginger wine. Ginger is used to relieve digestive problems such as nausea, loss of appetite, motion sickness and pain. It can reduce inflammation and has even cited as having aphrodisiac properties. Well, there you go. How's that? Learn about ginger wine tonight. As Mac and Hildebrandt continuing to do battle. Oh, I stepped away too early. Hildebrandt's going to have to fight him off here. Just on 9 minutes remaining in round number 3. And we're looking from the rear of the 1111 Aston Martin, or the 111 Aston Martin. Into Chris Hildebrandt. Oh, he's getting a little bit squirrely. Out of turn 1. Looking at Aston Martin's tyres are starting to feel a little bit worse for wear. And these two continue to duke it out. This is for the silver class outright lead. So out in front, it's Andrew Lawrenson leading the way. 15.5 seconds is the gap between him and Terry Rayton. Paul Russell 13.4 seconds behind. Matt Frost 10.4 seconds behind, but he's got company. He's got Pierre Reid, who's only half a second behind him. So I'll flick across and I'll show you. That's the gap right now between 4th and 5th. So Matt Frost going for 2 fourths in a row. James Pierre Reid 11th last week, 2nd the week before that. So he's in some good form to start the season. Who else? We've got Tom McDonald in 6th position. Latenzio 7th. 8th, Ricard. 9th is Hildebrandt. And 10th is Mack. those two before. And then War, Bridgens, Hurley, Atron and Marsh. So Hildebrandt, Silverclass and Bridgens. Russell's up one spot. He started 4th and 3rd. Frost the same. Reed and McDonald have risen 2 spots as well. Tanzio, he dropped 4, so he had that little incident at the beginning. So good recovery from him to get up into 7th position. Ricker has dropped a couple of spots. Hildebrandt's up a spot. Mack is down 1. Bridgens is up 2, and Herbstron is up 2 as well. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Nando Lattanzio. 126.917. It's pretty rapid. That's faster than Andrew Lawrence's best time around here. In saying that though, the Aston Martin is also top of the pops when it comes to the speed trap as well. 242 kilometres. 7 kilometres faster than Lawrence's, so that gives you a bit of an idea. McDonald in the Audi 240. Funnily enough, Rayton was 247 in the Audi. I think there was another Audi in there, but we don't have that anymore. As just counting down the final minutes of this one, round number 3 will be in the books very, very shortly. We're going to take a little break after this one, and then we will be back. We're going to be at Laguna Seca. Back to sprint format, I believe. Famous turns, the corkscrew. The most famous turns, I think, at Laguna Seca. They have a great classic car festival there as well. I think it's wine country up that way too. Definitely expected to be dry as Hildebrandt was just a little bit scrappy outside out of 10, 9 and 10. So I reckon his tyres are feeling a little bit worse for wear. Mark looking to swoop, take any opportunity he can. This is battling it out for the silver class lead. James Max, the silver class leader, championship leader, and he taps Hildebrandt from behind. And is he going to redress that? Oh, the TDP might have a look at that. We'll have a look at it right now, in fact. And there we go. We saw it from on board. Where it stands right now. So we go back to live pictures. There's Mark, there's Hildebrandt, and that's Peter Wall, who is also in contention for the silver podium. He's currently sitting in P3 in silver right now, as Max Ricker goes around and almost collects the race leader, Andrew Lawrenson. Let's go to the replay and watch this. We'll go on board with him. And he goes around, and here comes Ed. Oh, that was Andrew Lawrenson, so just escaped there. As we go back to live pictures. So a late race scare there for our race leader, Andrew Lawrenson. That's about the only thing that could have prevented him from winning tonight. With just over 3 minutes remaining. Reed and Frost, they're going to continue to fight it out until the very end. Frost looking for 2 fourths in a row. Pierre Reed looking to solidify his championship start. 2nd, 11th, and a 5th would look pretty good. A 4th would be even better, in fact, as Frost just got a little bit squirrely out of the S's. We've seen a couple of drivers struggling with that late in the race, and Pierre Reed in a familiar position just doesn't quite have that top end speed to make the overtake. They're going to continue along the front, the start finish straight. That's Herbertron just pitting in the background there. Might have miscalculated his fuel perhaps, possibly. purely speculating at this stage. And Hildebrand and Mack, as well as Wall. So it's a three-way battle right now for silver as we begin the final 2 minutes. So another couple. I reckon we might do 2 more laps at this stage as Lawrenson is making his way towards out of the hairpin. But this is these two are going through the Melbourne hairpin right now, not too far from Lawrenson, and Chris Hildebrand has taken the silver class lead back. So he's going to have about another 2 laps to defend Mack in the McLaren. He goes down the front straight. That's the view from the leader of the silver class, the 111, Chris Hildebrand in the Aston Martin. This would be a very well-deserved result for Chris Hildebrand. Driven a fantastic race. Started in 10th. Moved his way up into 8th. Driven superbly. Not taking anything away from James Mack or Peter Wall or anyone else. Just giving some props to Chris Hildebrand. Maybe Mack is going to have his hands full with Peter Wall behind him. So much so that he won't have enough time to try and get past Hildebrand here, who's looking on track to take the silver class victory. This is Pierre Reid and Frost. They're still battling it out for 4th and 5th. These scraps are going to go all the way down to the very last lap. I'm not too sure if this will be the final time that Lawrenson crosses the line. If he wanted to be a bit cheeky, he could just hold off, but that's not really his style. So there we go. That's the call for the final lap, and that means it's the final lap for these 3 as well. So silver class going down to the final lap. That's Terry Rayton in the background there. He's driven a great race too, so that will be his best result of the season. A 4th and 5th. His 2 previous finishes, a 2nd. Fit in there nicely. Will there be a race win for him at some stage this season? We'll have to wait and see. We've got 10 races, 7 more to go after tonight. Plenty of opportunity left for him. In the meantime, Hildebrand is about half a lap away from taking out a silver class finish and a top 10 finish as well, outright P8. Great result for him. But Mack, though, is determined to not let that happen. They're going to go through to the S's here. Mack going side by side. Hildebrand having to fend off. In the meantime, though, Wall is going to go up the inside here. Is he going to take a spot? He almost does. He's going to have the inside line here into the Melbourne hairpin. Mack was fighting it out for the silver class lead. Well done, Andrew Lawrenson. He takes home race victory. Let's get back to this. Rayton will finish 2nd. Oh, there's a tap from behind from Mack. What a great scrap all the way to the end there. Well done, Chris Hildebrand. He takes out the silver class victory. Terry Rayton in 2nd outright. Paul Russell, he's going to come home in 3rd. We didn't see too much of him tonight, but he's driven a great race as well to take home P3. That'll go nicely next to P2 from last week. We won't talk about round 1 where he was 15th. Matt Frost, he's also driven a bit of a low... Oh, he's driven an eventful race towards the end. A DNF round 1, a 4th last week, a 4th this week. James Pierre Reid takes home P5. Tom McDonald, who was scrapping it out with James Pierre Reid, he's going to come home in P6. And Tom McDonald, where are you in the championship, Tom McDonald? Not in the top 10 by my calculations, so congratulations to him. Nando Latenzio, he is 11th in the championship. He comes home in 7th. 8th outright Hildebrand, 9th and 10th Wall and Mack. That's your silver class podium. Rickett in 11th. James Bridgens doing some celebratory donuts. He takes out the AM class victory. Congratulations to him. That'll boost his championship standings as well. And then Herbertron, our AM class leader, came home in P number 13, but second outright in class. Hurley and Marsh with 14th and 15th. But once again, this man on screen, Andrew Lawrenson, was too good for everyone else. He has taken out the overall victory. So congratulations, Andrew Lawrenson. That is 3 wins on the trot. That's our championship leader. That's our 2-time defending champion as well. So as mentioned, we are going to take a little break. So that's 3 rounds in the book. We'll take a week's break and then we will be back to do it all again. We'll be at Laguna Seca for back to the 60-minute sprint format. In the meantime, though, enjoy your rest of the week. Nice to see you all again. And we'll do it all again in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, stay safe, look after yourself, look after each other. My name's Nick. I'll see you